me today. I am your Detroit City Council President, Brenda Jones, giving you an update on several items of interest voted on by the Detroit City Council at yesterday's formal session. Also, we are live on Facebook at www.facebook.com/CP Brenda Jones. Callers and people on Facebook will be able to ask questions at the end of our last discussion. I want to take some time to discuss crucial City Council improvements and improvements that's impacting our youth. The first was a resolution that I sponsored urging the City of Detroit to partner with corporate entities to ensure every household, and when I say every household, I mean every household has access to the internet. Our city suffers from a massive digital divided thing. The need for complete internet access became evident when schools closed for the year due to COVID-19, and students had to do distance learning. Lack of home internet service puts our children at a disadvantage in completing their social environment and their schoolwork. It impacts our city as a whole. The City of Detroit's census participation rate is only at 42%, which is the second lowest in the United States. Home internet service is so very important, and it would make it much easier for households to be able to complete their forms online, so Detroit can receive the funds that we deserve from our federal government. If those census numbers are low, we will not receive the funds that we need to receive from the federal government. The second item that was approved that impacts our youth was a contract to allow the Southwest Detroit Business Association to provide a music and performing arts program to students. The contract was originally approved to provide the program in various schools. As I just said, however, due to the COVID-19 requirements for schools to close, the SDBA proposed as an alternate to conduct the classes via Zoom. So welcome to SDBA, Mr. Robert and Ms. Theresa. Thank you for being here with us today. How did you decide to conduct the Zoom classes?
Okay, well, thank you, President Jones. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk about Compass, and we appreciate the city and city council's support for making this change that was really required as a result of the closure of Detroit Public Schools Community District classes, because the CDBG contract was to provide latchkey, essentially after school arts and performing arts classes to students in public schools and Detroit Public Schools between the ages of 3 and 16. And with classes being out, it just made sense to try to do this through remote learning. And we are well on our way to converting 20 in-studio and in-school classes to the online participation. I think we have 13 right now out of 20, and we're continually trying to enroll additional students with their parents' support.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Talk about the classes that's being provided to the students. Can you just give us a brief overview of the classes that you will be providing to the students? Good to see you, Theresa, as well as good to see you, Robert.
Right, thank you. Let me ask Theresa if she can give an overview of the kinds of classes that we have going right now.
All right. Of course, that's the printing here. So the classes range from violin, voice, keyboard, drums, so in the musical area, and in the area of dance, because we have young people from the age of 3 and up. So there's like beginner ballet, ballet 2, and then teen ballet. So we graduate each of them up. And because our former director had studied in Hawaii, he brought his love for hula dance to the group, and the parents and the kids loved it. So we also have hula dance. So there is also flamenco dancing, so part of the Hispanic culture. And working toward, as they have guitar, it may start off as classical guitar, which is again part of Hispanic culture and music, but a lot of the youth then want to go into electric guitar. So we often listen to what the youth are asking for, as well as the parents, as we grow the program.
That's awesome. Let me go back to my youth days and come out and enjoying you guys, because that sounds really good. That sounds really good for our youth. Talk about how important it is for organizations such as yours, such as Southwest Detroit Business Association, to continue to support the youth through this period and through this time.
All right. Do you want me to do that? Do you want to do that, Rob?
Go ahead, Theresa, and I'll maybe add something.
Okay, I think as many of you already very eloquently said, I mean, there's a big problem in the community because they don't have access either to computers or to internet. And so realizing that that was part of the challenge is how do we bring these classes through Zoom to them, and helping them and their parents. So sometimes it's working with the parents to figure it out and to understand it. But it really was the parents saying, I want my children to continue learning, whether it's dance or music, and will you please offer something for them? So it was in response to them that we jumped on board, and our administrative director, who is Norma Preciado, really moved forward quickly to get as many instructors back on board and to get as many of the classes as possible back on board. And so it's part of what Compas's evaluation showed is how both the youth and their parents see it as a safe learning environment, a social learning environment where they found friends and they feel like family. And so part of it, continuing on these classes, is really allowing the community to have that family spirit and the feeling of safety and security, and to keep that moving forward through these really trying times.
Yeah, I think she covered it. I would just echo the benefits to not only the youth, but the parents. And it's definitely a way that we've identified that digital gap that everybody's talking about, that you are prioritizing on council. And so we are doing our best to provide not only for instruments from the home setting when students don't have those, but also digital access. So that's going to be an ongoing challenge, but this is an opportunity to really see some great results if we can accomplish something as a community.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And going forward, we're going to learn so much out of this process. I'm sure there are organizations that are doing the same thing. And how can we use this tool, even if we come back as a face-to-face, can we use this tool of technology to reinforce the instruction and to reinforce the relationship with the students and the parents as well?
So let me ask you a question. Since you're now online, is it just classes for Southwest Detroit students only, or is it open?
Right now, we started with the, right.
But I meant Zoom.
Yep. So we started with the students we knew and the ones we had emails and cell phone numbers for their parents. But now, as we're starting, as Robert said, we're moving beyond the 13 and to go back to at least offering 20. This gives us an opportunity to invite students who are in the neighborhood. And so it was a college preparatory. That was the last school that we worked in very successfully. So if we can communicate with their staff and see how many of those youth might be willing to move back in, because they were taking drums and some of the dance courses and had expressed starting violin. So that would be great if we could continue the education with those students that they all learned in the fall semester. And so there are other schools that have expressed interest, and so we'll be reaching out to them to see if we can bring their students in as well, so that we can expand the number of students that we're working with.
Wonderful. Do you have any spots open right now?
Yes, we do. We do. So in fact, we're setting up a website as we speak, and there'll be a registration form online so people can go online. And I have to say, really because of the City of Detroit block grant, we are able to offer these classes free to the youth. So it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to do that for youth right now.
And so how would they apply? I know you said you're finishing up the website.
Mm-hmm.
How would they apply to be able to take advantage of this?
It's just a simple form. You know, it's usually the parent that would fill it out. You know, your name, your address, you know, what class are you interested in, and finding out if they have internet at home, or if they have something, either a cell phone or a computer that they can work with, and what else their needs are. So it's just, and if they don't have access to that, there's a phone number they can call and leave a message, and somebody will call them back and can fill the form out for them.
Okay, and so the website is not finished yet with that. So how do they go up to the website? Can you give that information or a phone number that they will be able to apply to, or what website will they go up on?
Okay, the Compass website will be connected to the Southwest Detroit Business Association website. So when you go there, there'll be a link to take you to the Compass website. So that's it's www.southwestdetroit as one word.com. So www.southwestdetroit.com.
And President Jones, let me just add, for right now, while we're waiting for that website to be hooked up with the application and such, your viewers can send us an email at info@southwestdetroit.com, and we'll see that it gets to the proper program representative so that we can respond either with a call or an email back.
Okay, thank you both so very much for taking out of your time out of your busy schedule today. I know you have another meeting that you have to get to, so feel free to leave when you have to, and just want to know, is there anything I didn't cover that you all would like to mention?
Theresa?
I would say that, you know, if people have questions as you go through this program, you said there'd be questions at the end, is whether Stacy or somebody else can just send us the questions and we'd be happy to reply.
Okay.
And if I may, I just add that Compass is just one of the community outreach programs that we have. Of course, we're a business association. So if I can pan over my shoulder, we're in the process of distributing PPE, courtesy of the City of Detroit and DTE. This is our own little sample, but we'll have additional samples courtesy of DTE to make available to the business community. And I know they're working with community partners all around the city to make sure that our businesses are ready and prepared to open when the executive orders allow that.
Again, thank you both so much for being here with us. I think I remember you both. I've been on council for 15 years now, and I remember you both from day one of being on council. So thank you so much for all that you do, and I appreciate you all for what you are doing for our youth. So I truly appreciate you. Again, thank you, and at any point you have to leave, please feel free to leave, and if we receive any questions or anything, we will make sure we get those questions over to you all.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah,
we
appreciate you.
All right, and stay safe and be careful when you have to go out.
Yeah.
Will do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The third youth focus item approved by City Council is a contract supporting the Grow Detroit Young Talent 2020 summer job program for City of Detroit youth. And joining us is Nicole Sherard-Freeman, Detroit's Director of Workforce Development. Good afternoon, Ms. Nicole. Good afternoon, and thank you for being here with us today.
Good afternoon, Council President Jones. Thank you so much for the invitation to join. It is always an honor to speak directly with the citizens of Detroit about matters that are important to them, and certainly children and youth, and especially what will be happening this summer is at the top of that list. Also, thank you, Council President, for your work on helping us close the digital divide across the city. Your advocacy, your pressing in on the matter is part of what will make this a success. We've got all GDYT programming online, but it won't be a success if our young people don't have access to devices, connectivity, and technical assistance. So thank you for that. I am joined today by Stephanie Nixon, who will take herself off or open her video now. Stephanie is the Chief Program Officer for Detroit at Work, and she is really the brain behind what's happening with GDYT on the programmatic side every year. Stephanie and I have been partnering on this for the past, has it been 5 years, Stephanie, maybe? So I thought I would do a couple of things, Council President, if this meets what you're expecting. I'd like to talk a little bit about how GDYT Online will work, how students will be paid, and the experience that they can expect. And then certainly I'll ask Stephanie to weigh in since she has the programmatic details. The first thing to know, and Council President, you pushed us on this, the first thing to know is that never, not once did we consider not having a summer youth program for our young people. Our young people have come to expect Grow Detroit's Young Talent every year, and we knew we would have some significant fundraising challenges. We still have a $2.5 million gap. Thanks to Council President and the honorable body's vote yesterday, it isn't a $3 million gap. So appreciate that. But we knew we'd have fundraising challenges, but never for 1 minute did we think about canceling the program as so many other large cities and large urban cities have. So this year, our young people can expect what they had last year, which is a 6-week experience, 120 hours. A 6-week experience, 100. Uh-oh, can you hear me? Can everybody
hear you now?
Okay. 6 weeks, 120 hours. And quite frankly, in some cases, more structure around GDYT than we've had in prior years. So students will spend 3 to 4 hours a day in a combination of sort of Zoom calls like this with their peers in small groups of no more than 20, overseen by capable adults who are the same adults who've been in our community-based organizations working with youth for the past 5 years for sure, maybe a decade in one organization or another. They'll complete daily assignments, group projects, and capstone projects. And so we are not paying our students just for the sake of checking a box and saying that they're in GDYT. These are actually performance-based stipends. And so when a student completes an assignment individually or as part of a group or their capstone project, that's what drives their stipend payment. So we are very grateful to have industry partners, Microsoft, Google, DTE, some others that Stephanie might mention, to lead some of these groups with our young people so that our kids get exposure to careers that they've never considered, companies that they've never heard of, talk with professionals they'd never meet under normal circumstances. We're really excited about the structure of this year's program. Assuming full funding, we will start this program on July, is it 5th, Stephanie? And is there anything briefly that you would add? I think you're on mute, Steph.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can't hear me? Okay. Yes, July 6th will be our start date. That's a Monday. That's the Monday after the 4th of July. And yes, Nicole, we are really excited in particular about companies. Companies have called and they're so excited. Everybody really wants to support our young people. They know how important summer work experience is. And so we've had multiple companies across the Detroit in particular and southwestern Michigan to call us and let us know, how can we help? what do we need to do and how can we participate? So it's been a great experience and we're looking forward to it.
So the majority of our experiences will be online. We have roughly right now 30 in-person experiences, and those will be reserved for older youth. So clearly, if you're an adult aged 18 to 24, you will make your own decision about whether you feel comfortable going to an on-site work experiences, but there are, an on-site work experience, so a live environment. There are very few of those opportunities though. And we are having, we'll host online experiences for the younger youth, because in talking with our partners at Detroit Public Schools Community District and in other districts, we have a hard time imagining how you ensure safe social distance between groups of 14 to 17-year-old youth. That's hard to accomplish. We are not going to try to pull that off. So what they will experience online will be far more in-depth from both a work readiness, workplace learning, career exploration point of view than what they would have received under normal circumstances over the summer. So we're excited about it, Council President.
So thank you. Stephanie, did you have something you wanted to add?
You know, I just wanted to add that we will also be providing industry-led training that will be virtual and online. We're ensuring that the young people won't be just looking at a PowerPoint. They will be engaged with an instructor, and they will have experiences around earning credentials and certifications in high growth, high demand vocations. So we're also offering that as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I think you said it, but how many youth did you say will be a part of the program?
So there will be 8,000, assuming full funding.
Wow. And will the youth still be paid at the same rate?
Yeah, so we are paying at the same rate we would have paid last year. So the 14 to 17-year-olds will earn $8.25 an hour. That's set by the state. So when you're underage, you earn a percentage of whatever the minimum wage is. Our 18 years and older will earn somewhere between $9.70 an hour and $10 an hour. And there are other programs that are sponsored specifically by employers. DTE, for example, is paying $12 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and is there still time to register?
So there's no more time to register. So registration closed. But what I will say to the parents and guardians and community members of the 30 youth who have already applied, watch your email, watch your text messages, pay attention to the outreach, and sign up when we call you, because this year it will be first come, first serve based on those who complete their assignments, their pre-registration assignments.
And what are the age ranges again, Nicole?
14 to 24, you're eligible for GDYT as long as you live in the city of Detroit.
Okay, thank you so very much. Is there anything you want to add?
One point I'd add, so this year we are paying with stipends, not a paycheck. And so the beauty of that is that when students receive their pay this year, it's going to feel like they're earning more than they did last year because they won't be paying payroll taxes. We had to do that as a virtue of the type of funding that's available, the fact that we are having some fundraising challenges. We'll meet it as long as our partners keep their commitments. But it's going to feel like they're earning a little more than they do under normal circumstances. Again, that's not because we increased the wage, it's because they won't be paying payroll taxes.
Okay, and let me just ask you a question as we talk about COVID-19 and everything that is going on. How important do you feel that it is to continue with the Grow Detroit young talent despite the COVID-19? How important do you think that is for our youth? I know I'm always saying that people are saying that they are our future, but I always say they are our now.
Right.
If we don't get our youth past now, there is no future for them past, because they're not going to get past now, and there is no future for us, because those are, and these are the ones that will be the Nicole Sherard-Freeman in the next generation, and they are the ones that will be the Stephanie Nixon and the Brenda Joneses and the Toni, Limmitt, and the Arielle Johnsons and the Larry Teamers and the Randolph Hicks. They are the ones that's going to carry on when we decide we're ready to retire. And so they're not just our future, they are our now. And if we don't get them past now, there is no future for them. And I thank God I graduated from Cass Tech, and being a Cass technician, woo, I see Arielle. Yeah, being a Cass technician, I see you too, Toni. What we had, and you know, so many people say that was back in the day, but what we had back in the day were we were able to go to the jobs and do work there, doing the jobs during the day that would be part of our school day. We did not get paid, but we got the experience. And some of us, after we graduated, was able to go back to those companies and apply for a job, and they gave us credit for working at those companies when, you know, like say if we were there for 2 years during the co-op period, they gave us credit for a year, and we had that 1 year seniority, and it wasn't like we were coming in new. And so we have to let our youth and let our people see what it's actually like being on the other side of the road, and then getting a stipend and getting that money for it also helps. And so I thank you all. I thank the sponsors who are helping. And so for Arielle and Toni, and I thank Cass Tech. So thank you all for what you are doing. And again, if there's anything that you want to add, Stephanie, I know Nicole had an opportunity to add, but if there's anything you want to add, Stephanie, feel free.
Really appreciate it. First, let me make a correction. I think I said companies in southwestern Michigan. I mean companies in southeastern Michigan. We were talking about the southwestern project, so that was on my mind. So I just want to clarify that. A lot of support from local businesses, so I want to clarify that. But I also wanted just to reiterate that there was never, ever a question about whether we were going to provide these opportunities for young people in the city this summer. The funding and the support supports families. It helps families' budgets. The young people really use those dollars to really help move their families forward. And we wanted in no way to not have that opportunity for the families in the city of Detroit, particularly during COVID and the negative impact that on the economy that COVID has caused. So it was always our intention to make this happen.
Okay. Thank you
Council
both.
President, Council President, I have to say this. I have to say this because you raised Cass Tech. There are, let's see the hands in the air. There are 3 Renaissance alum on this call. You can't see.
I won't hold it against you all.
Thank you.
In my family, so I won't hold it against you all.
That's right.
Council President, thanks for the opportunity.
Hey,
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Always, always. As everyone knows, target business and employment are at the top of my priorities as we work collaboratively to enhance the opportunities for Detroiters to be City of Detroit contractors and to work on City of Detroit contracts. One important action taken by the Detroit City Council yesterday was the approval of an ordinance sponsored by Councilmember Janae Ayers to amend the Detroit-based business definition to clarify the definition. This was needed to prevent businesses from taking advantage of the equalization credit process that gives points to businesses that are located in Detroit and prioritize the hiring of Detroiters. We also are considering the approval of the Security Services Supply Schedule. This will provide services not limited to security guard services and vehicles, guard and security services, including traffic control on or at the City of Detroit facilities and or properties. The Security Service Supply Schedule is $20 million over the course of 5 years with restricted bidding for Detroit businesses only, while also allowing the Office of Contracting and Procurement to negotiate more favorable prices for frequently reoccurring security services. This is the reason I authored the supply schedule ordinance. This supply schedule represents the hard work done by the Office of Contracting and Procurement, and they work real hard, along with the Civil Rights Inclusion and Opportunity Department and the Detroit City Council through the supply schedule outreaches and also through Council Member Ayers and my hosting the Small Business Empowerment Fairs. These events help existing and future business owners who are looking to expand their operations locate funding and identify resources within the city of Detroit. I want to discuss target businesses and employment development with Arielle Johnson from the Civil Rights Inclusion and Opportunity Department. We're so used to saying CRIO, and everybody does not know what all of our alphabets stand for. So CRIO is Civil Rights Inclusion and Opportunity Department. Toni Stewart, Limmitt from the Office of Contracting and Procurement, and I think Nicole is still with us. And so if you guys want to just talk about the, just to explain the equalization credits and how they play a role in Detroit business winning city contracts.
Toni.
Don't be shy.
I'll let you talk about the equalization credits, Toni.
Oh, thank you, Council President, for allowing us to be here today. So when we speak on the equalization credits, basically that is opportunity for those certified businesses to receive some additional points when they are submitting their bids to the Office of Contract and Procurement. And our alphabets are OCP, if you ever hear us say that. So kind of like Mr. Larry Teamer and Mr. Hicks, they have security companies, but they are certified. So it gives them an additional advantage to have extra credits when they're bidding up against those contractors that are security companies that don't have that certification here in the city of Detroit. In addition to that equalization credit, we offer the Detroit Supply Schedule. And the Detroit Supply Schedule is a set aside for only certified businesses to have an opportunity to bid on any security opportunities throughout the city of Detroit. So I've met at some of the outreaches that we had discussing these supply schedules. That's where I entered into encountered basically Mr. Teamer and Mr. Randolph Hicks, who I also have joining us today. I'll allow Arielle to speak on the civil rights and inclusion opportunities, and then we'll come back to allow our contractors to give a little bit of information about themselves and how they heard about the supply schedule. Arielle?
Arielle, thank you.
Yes. So one of the things that happened recently was the approval of the new and improved definition of the Detroit-based business certification. And so that effort was one of the first initiatives that came from the Mayor's Equity Council in partnership with Councilwoman Janae Ayers in regards to ensuring that the businesses that receive a Detroit-based business certification are truly Detroit-based businesses. And so the change that happened with that definition is that now it requires businesses companies to show that they have actually done business within the city of Detroit from their Detroit location within the past year, and not just storing equipment there within the last year. And so it's very rewarding and exciting to see Mr. Hicks here and Mr. Teamer as Detroit-based businesses that have been certified with us for quite some time, and to see that that this work is actually turning into opportunities for these businesses, for Detroiters. And so I'm very excited to be able to participate in the Equity Council that is led by our director, Charity Dean, and for the support from City Council to be able to continue that work. And thank you so much, Council President, for continuing to partner with us on these events, and including Toni and I. We get to show up and just talk all the time with you guys, and so I really appreciate that.
Thank you, and thank you both. And so basically, the ordinance approved yesterday requires that a business receiving the Detroit-based business certification meets the following qualifications. They are furnishing goods, services, or performing services, or both from a location within the city limit that pays City of Detroit income tax and City of Detroit property tax, and has paid such taxes for at least 1 year immediately preceding the date of the application for certification to be a Detroit-based business, and which shall comply with the following requirements. They provide verification that the applicant has the physical resources and the ability to provide the service from the city location subject to the certification. They provide verification that the business has or can procure an adequate number of employees at the city location subject to certification to provide the services identified in the application. And they disclose the number of Detroit resident employees located at the city location subject to certification. And so you have two gentlemen here with us, and we want to give them an opportunity to speak as well. So I know Arielle and Toni, I think, are you both Cass Tech? I know you kind of shy if you're
Yes, all the
Yes, Cass Tech.
So we're gonna see how shy you two gentlemen are, since the women are rather shy, as you see. So why don't you both tell us what's going on with your businesses and this Detroit-based certification? Just talk about what's going on.
Well, I guess I can start. Again, Larry Teamer, Pyratech Security System, my company name. I've been in business for 27 years here on Livernois, just south of 8 Mile, the Avenue of Passion. Currently, again, I've been in business for 27 years. I found out about the supply schedule, Detroit supply schedule, at a meeting on the east side back in June of last year. I believe you were there, Council President.
Yes, I was.
I talked to you a short period after the event. And so about you, Ms. Limmitt, too. I talked with the both of you. And Mr. Jackson, Boise Jackson, I believe I gave you our information, and he told me that he would get in touch with me through email if there was some work for us, security work. And that happened actually in February. I got an email from Ms. Limmitt and advising us we could submit a proposal on some work for the city of Detroit. Mr. Hicks and I had actually formed a joint venture just at that time. We had discussed joining or getting putting our two companies together for certain projects so we could entertain larger contracts. Both of us, we're small businesses, and actually the last 3 years it's been pretty tough to get business in the city. So this is an opportunity for us to prosper. So we accepted the invitation and submitted our bids. And I'd like to thank the mayor, Mayor Mike Duggan, and yourself, Council President Jones, and Ms. Limmitt, and the entire council for us applying this opportunity for us. It'll help us an awful lot, and it'll provide us an opportunity to hire youth in the city, which we already do. Both of our companies are about 95% of our employees are City of Detroit residents. So we offer training, expert training. I particularly have 4 certified trainers in my company now, and we provide in-house training, supervision, and an opportunity for our youth to advance into supervision. My background is with the Detroit Police Department. I was a lieutenant commanding officer of 2 of the top 3 units within the Detroit Police Department, that being the Youth Crime Unit of the Special Crime Section. I was also in charge of that for 7 years, commonly known as the Gang Squad. And prior to my retirement in 1992, I was commanding officer of the Special Response Team, Special Weapons and Tactics, SWAT team for the city of Detroit. And I was trained all over the United States, so I think my training and expertise allowed me to enter the security industry, which I did. And again, I've been here for 27 years in the city of Detroit, born and raised here. went to school here. My education includes, I have a bachelor's degree from Wayne State University in criminal justice. I have a master's degree in security administration from University of Detroit Mercy. And I have a training certificate from the Northwestern University School of Police Staff and Command. And I'm a graduate of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Advanced Management Program. We were selected one out of 36 companies to enroll in the first cohort in the state of Michigan. Out of 1,200 applicants, they figured we had potential for growth, which I admired, and we handled that. So my thing is now, we appreciate the opportunity to further serve the city of Detroit. And again, we offer training, expertise, and employment for our youth.
Thank you.
Right, I'll let Mr. Hicks intervene at this time. I don't want to think about it.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. How are you?
I'm just fine, and thank you for the opportunity.
Right.
Mr. Teamer has a good resume, and that's why he was chosen by me for this joint venture, because we are both on the east side. We both in the community.
Right.
He's on the west side of Detroit in the community, and I'm located on the east side of Detroit, and I've been in business since 1980. And on the east side, hiring, training, giving people work so they can get out of poverty. And this was the calling for me. And I've done that. And I've been certified, I think 10 or more years, and never had this kind of opportunity. So I'm just grateful that this opportunity came up, and I was going to all the seminars that the city put forth. And I met Ms. Limmitt, and some more people from her staff, and here we are at this point.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Thank you both for what you do in the city of Detroit. Thank you for hiring Detroiters. One of the questions that I'll always ask is, how many Detroit employees do you have when we get a contract that comes before us? Because one of the things that I truly believe is that if you are spending Detroiters' taxpayers' dollars, you should be able to hire Detroit residents, because Detroit has a high unemployment rate. Sure. And I'd like to see all of Detroiters who are ready to work and who are willing to work get that opportunity to go to work. And so I sentiment from the west side back to the east side, back downtown, for the things that you are doing in the city of Detroit. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Can you, Toni, talk about how Detroit businesses actually bid on contracts?
Yes, thank you, Council President. If you're interested in bidding on any of the Detroit supply schedule opportunities or any of our contracts through the Office of Contract and Procurement, you can always visit our website. It's www.detroitmi.gov/supplier. And it's a list on there to tell you how to go in and register to do business with us. And then you can upload your bid once you are actually registered. It gives you all of the information. If in the event that you have any issues with technology, we do have an e-procurement staff that's led by Ivor Patterson. Her information is also on our website, and she's willing to assist anyone that may have any technical difficulties or anything. But that's how they can get opportunities to do business with the city of Detroit.
Okay, thank you. And to either one of you, to any of you, why do you feel that the ability to have the supply schedule are so beneficial to support the Detroit businesses that are receiving city contracts?
Oh, I think Mr. Teamer, you're on mute.
Oh.
Okay, Mr. Teamer.
All right, am I on mute now?
You are unmuted.
Okay, all right. All right, well, it helps us out. It seems like recently a lot of these huge companies have come into the city of Detroit, and they're underbidding, and it's hard to get to work. or it has been. So the extra points will help us tremendously. And again, we strictly do business in the city of Detroit, Mr. Hicks and I. And like I said, we've been here a long time, and we offer, you know, we can produce just like any other company and even better. We have to do a lot better job just to stay abreast with the larger companies. They just have the backing. Some have backing from outside the country. Countries have financial backing, so it's hard to compete with them. So the extra points in our quest to get business helps tremendously. And again, it allows us to hire more people and train more people and get our workforce ready for the future. And that's what we do. Right now we have about 25 guards right now. We had to reduce or furlough a lot of them because of the epidemic that's going on now. But they plan to be back shortly. You know, I think the 1st of June. So that should increase. And again, the bigger the contracts we have and what we bargain for will dictate our pay schedule, but our training and supervision and direction will stay the same. And again, we're trying to prepare our youth, as you mentioned earlier, for the future. You know, we teach them what I know. We impart all that information, and I just gave you part of it. We have certificates, and I'm a CPP, it's called, Certified Protection Professional. And to maintain certification, you have to continually go to school. You have to have 60 hours of training or school every 3 years to remain certified. I've been certified for 27 years, you know, and I impart all of that information to our trainees and our supervisors. And we increase the knowledge and expertise of our personnel. And that helps the city of Detroit and our companies also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to give an opportunity to our callers or our Facebook watchers to be able to ask questions if they have any questions. So if you have a question, if you press *9, that will raise your hand for you to be able to ask your question. If you are on Facebook Live and you have a question, if you type it into Facebook, we will read it and get the answer for you. I do not see any hands raised right now. And so I'm going to just continue to talk. As you know, I'm very shy, so I'm going to just continue to talk and show you just how shy I really am. And so I am happy to say that I am working with the Office of Contracting and Procurement and the Civil Rights Inclusion and Opportunity Department to expand the definition of adequate equipment and adequate employees to further strengthen the equalization and to provide the greatest benefit to our residents. Additionally, we are considering the approval of the second supply schedule. So Toni, can you talk about how collaborative outreaches are able to support how collaborative outreaches are able to support 100% Detroit business supply schedule, where we are able to ensure that at least $20 million is spent with Detroit businesses only?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Through our efforts, we have been showcasing or hosting virtual outreaches now. We are not going to allow the pandemic to stop us from making sure that Detroiters have those opportunities to contracts. And so in partnership with your office and Councilmember Ayers and Arielle from the Civil Rights and Inclusion and Opportunity Office, we have been hosting the outreach for the supply schedules. We have various supply schedules that we are offering. One that was approved by Detroit City Council was the grounds services one. This allows people who have landscaping companies and who would like to mow vacant lots and different things, opportunities to bid on contracts. We have the janitorial supply schedule, security, and we also have a facilities supply schedule. The contract that we are speaking on right now with Mr. Teamer and Mr. Hicks is the security contract. This supply schedule is specifically closed to only certified Detroit businesses. This right here allows them an opportunity to grow their companies. It allows them the opportunity to bid on those contracts. So they're at a playing field within one another. So it's small businesses, but it gives them that opportunity to do business. As Mr. Teamer said, he has been in business for over 27 years and hasn't had an opportunity to receive a city contract. By him being on the Detroit supply schedule, this opportunity is open only to those that have been approved to be on the schedule. So it would be three. Right now we have 3 potential suppliers. So it would be a smaller group that he has to compete against that are all in the same area. So I think this would help him. And then we've also partnered with Nicole Sherard-Freeman of the Detroit Employment Solutions, so that we have sent letters to all of our contractors with the opportunity, if you don't have employees or you're looking for a specific skill set, her staff can assist them. So we're making sure that we're providing those opportunities to help Detroiters who have companies here hire more Detroiters and spend the Detroit funds within the city of Detroit.
Yes.
And
Thank
those
you,
are,
sir.
things from the supply schedule.
Thank you so very much for that. So Arielle, how important do you think it is that the businesses that are receiving the Detroit-based business equalization meet the requirements so that you all don't have to go out and talk to them?
Yes. So one, and I'd like to say that the importance of the supply schedule and what that can mean for primarily not just Detroit businesses, but some businesses that usually struggle with getting access to capital and being able to significantly scale, such as women-owned business and minority-owned businesses, is having that certainty of a longer-term contract or a contract that you know is coming and having that work. Then you now have opportunities to be able to talk to funders and get opportunities to get access to additional capital and to scale in ways that you wouldn't be able to when you don't have the certainty that comes with having the opportunities that are presented through a supply schedule. And so I wanted to again express my gratitude for that. In regards to businesses being able to needing to show that they qualify for a Detroit-based business, one, it makes it easier for you to push your certification through faster so that you can now get to the bidding process with Toni's team. And then also, in your partnership with the city and being able to communicate to us what your challenges are. So if you truly are a Detroit-based business and you're having a hard time being able to show the information that you actually are a Detroit-based business, working with our team and being able to communicate that as quickly as possible will also support you, and also maybe even be able to connect you with other city resources, like Toni mentioned with Detroit at Work, and getting access to Detroiters that are ready to work and that are able to contribute to essentially the success of your business overall. And so we're always willing. We have 2 people on our team that all they do is process these certifications and connect with businesses that are in need for this exactly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. And let me just say, we have discussed the equalization credits. We've talked about Detroit business, and another change I'm looking forward to making is to provide greater preferences for businesses that hire Detroiters and increasing the number of points for Detroit residents businesses. And these are the businesses that actually employ at least 51% of Detroiters, and I'm looking forward to that. I want to thank all of you for what you are doing. I want to thank the ladies for being here. And I know the focus on employment is our next area to enhance and to improve. And I'm happy that we are all able to work together into doing this and to address the issues through target employment outreach and collaboration and the strategy. So I thank you, gentlemen, as well, you know, as you said, you've been in the city of Detroit, but not been able to do business in the city of Detroit. And so I am glad that there's now an opportunity for you to be able to do business in the city of Detroit. I don't see any callers. I think everyone has all the answers. We've given all the answers by being such shy panelists today. And so we don't have any questions from anyone. But I do see that Nicole has joined us. And so, Nicole, can you just talk about some of the ways that the Detroit Employment Solution Corporation and the Office of Contracting and Procurement are working together to close that gap? Toni, I think Toni mentioned it briefly, but can you just continue to talk about how you guys are working together to close the Detroit residents' employment gaps on the City of Detroit contract?
Sure. So at your urging, Council President, and because clearly we see it as a need, Boise Jackson, who is the Chief Procurement Officer for the City of Detroit, Boise and I have been working together pretty closely together for, I don't know, we've probably been talking about this for 6 months or so, after some very important conversations at table about your observations, President. So we've partnered to be intentional in our communications with contractors. So he and I partnered on a joint letter that we sent out sometime in, I think it was February, maybe it was January, time runs together now. I do remember that it was shortly before we closed down for COVID. We've attended with Charity and Arielle some of the supplier conferences where, you know, there's a whole host of information that Boise and Charity and others, including your office, President Jones, share with contractors. So we've started to join those events so that we can help employers like Mr. Teamer and Mr. Hicks appreciate how to connect with Detroit at Work and hire Detroiters. It wasn't always as easy as we've made it through Detroit at Work. So we've seen a really good response to that outreach. We've had employers from that outreach call us, and they aren't even essential businesses that are approved to hire yet. But they're trying to reach out and connect and understand how do they get Detroiters in the pipeline. We've got about 3,000 jobs posted now on DetroitAtWork.com under the Ready to Hire initiative. Many of those jobs are in the city of Detroit. I can't say off the top of my head how many are contractors, but I can say that your push, Council President, and my work with Boise and Toni and Charity and Arielle and others is having an impact.
Okay, thank you so much. As we are about to wrap up, because I definitely respect the time of others, and I think we have one question from Facebook. If we can have that question that is on Facebook, and then I will close up.
Joy Taylor just asked the question on how to get on the supply schedule. Joy, you can visit our website at www.detroitmi.gov/supplier, or you can email me at Limmitt, LIMMITTL@detroitmi.gov, and I can provide you with more detailed information on how to submit for that supply schedule. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And again, I want to thank you all for joining me this week live from the council table. I want to thank our viewers who are watching live on Facebook. I want to thank our callers who have called in and who are listening. I want to thank our businesses who are here with us, as well as Nicole Sherard-Freeman, Arielle Johnson from CRIO, and Toni Limmitt from OCP. Thank you, and Stephanie Nixon, thank you all for being here with us today. I want to ask you all to join me again at 1 p.m. on tomorrow, Thursday, for a roundtable discussion called Preparing Today to Reopen Tomorrow. We will have an outstanding panel discussing plans for Detroit small businesses to reopen. And then at 5 p.m., we'll have our weekly spiritual and mental wellness session that I look forward to because I truly need it. And on Friday at 9 a.m., it will be a special edition of Coffee and Conversation, and we will be discussing the community engagement ordinance. We had just last Friday, Congresswoman Lawrence and Deputy Director, Secretary of State Hester Wheeler that was with us last Friday, and we really had good conversation. Please follow me on social media or visit my city website, www.detroitmi.gov/Brenda Jones to be added to my email distribution list. And until the order is lifted, please stay home and stay safe. And if you must go out, please, please, please wear your mask. Wear your mask to protect yourself, wear your mask to protect your family, and wear your mask to protect others. Each day I'm getting a call that someone I knew, someone I love, have lost their life to COVID-19. It hurts. It's painful to see so many of our people lose their life to COVID-19. So I'm asking everyone to please stay safe. The governor has extended the stay at home, stay safe order to June the 12th. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. On Friday at 12 noon, we highlight our heroes. And those are the men and the women who are out there doing their essential work. They're out there so that we can stay home and stay safe. We also highlight community leaders who are out in the community and they're doing things and helping others so that they can stay home and stay safe. So please continue to join us. We thank you all for being here with us this Wednesday afternoon, and everyone have a wonderful Wednesday. And I hope to see you and or talk to you tomorrow. And if I don't, I will see you and look forward to talking to you at the most convenient time for both of us. Remember, stay safe, put that mask on, keep your hand sanitizers available. She has her mask on, Toni, I see you. I have my mask right here because I came in for a Zoom meeting after I went to the bank, and I just sat down and started my Zoom meeting, had my mask still around my neck, and took it off and just left it right here. So everyone, please stay safe. Keep your families safe. And again, thank you, and thank you all for doing business in the city of Detroit. Thank you for working and being employed in the city of Detroit. Thank Team Jones for all of the work that they do. And until we meet, God bless. Keep yourself and your family safe. And thank you to all of the listeners. We will adjourn this meeting today. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, God bless.